So, Jeff, you mentioned that this also applies to broker. I've been amazed. You've gotten to 600 units, almost all dealing through brokers, right? There's not this huge mass marketing going to sellers. Like a lot of it has been leveraging these relationships that you've built up over the years. Talk to our listeners, step one, how do you become that guy? It's easier now when you're established, you've proven everything, but early days, like why would someone bring Jeff Weinberg a deal? And what did you do to, one, get the deal, keep that relationship, grow the relationship, and get it to the point where it is today?
Well, I can only give you half the answer because otherwise I'll lose all my deals. It's kind of the same thing. It's just repeating, what I've said already. But when I find a deal, you can't be afraid to take the leap. So if you find a deal that you're going to make the offer on it and move into it. But I'm just a simple, principled kind of guy, and I go in and I make an offer on something. I'm a pretty tough negotiator. I'm a patient buyer, so I'll just sit and wait until the number comes and the seller will meet me where I'm at. But once we get there, once they meet me there, it's done. We're going to close. It's going to be really easy. We're going to move through the process. And as a result, again, it goes to the same thing. The brokers enjoy working with me. The brokers sell us to the seller that these people, if you make a deal, come down to $50,000, whatever they need to do for the deal, you're going to close. It's going to be really simple. You're not going to get to the closing and they're going to start asking you for different things or make threats to back out of the deal. And it's that simple. I'll add to that kind of a flip side, but there's a few professions and professionals that we all work with that it's a love-hate relationship. Our attorneys that we need for a lot of different things that we spend a ton of money on that seems to be very little value in a way or brokers where you pay the commission or the seller's paying the commission and it's a high fee. But we bought a building at the beginning of this year. It was a $14 million deal. It was a big deal. We think we got a great deal on it. The seller didn't want to pay a broker commission, so he had his residential broker sell these $14 million, $7 million assets, roughly speaking. And we saw at the closing what the numbers were, and I know had he hired a broker, he would have sold it for $1 million more. So you take the 4% instead of the 2% commission, he would have made a couple $100,000 more on the sale. He was selfishly foolish because he saw the broker as being expensive and not appreciating the actual service that the broker provides. So it's kind of a two-way street. I wish I could buy all my deals without brokers, but they do bring value at the end of the day, especially when you're working with the right brokers. And you got to find those, because I will say that only a relatively small percentage actually are good brokers.
Yeah. You know what? I'll defend the brokers here. They'll say, well, only a relatively few amount of investors are true investors, right? They're dealing with tire kickers on the other end too.
Yeah. Right.
It's the 80-20 rule, no matter what side of the table you're on.
Yep.